my story. I remember it vividly. We had a 7-week-old baby girl. Her name was Hannah. We were in the hospital. They ran some tests, and the doctor came in the room and said, your daughter has a disease called biliary atresia. It's a life-threatening disease. If we don't do surgery immediately, she's going to lose her liver. And the next thing I knew is they were doing surgery on her, my 7-week-old. And they said, things aren't ever going to be the same. We don't have a cure for this. This is what we can do to help her, but you're headed down a long road. And that started our journey of me being a caregiver to Hannah. We went weeks in the hospital, every 6 weeks, month after month, year after year. She had a liver transplant at age 16. She had a second liver transplant at age 24. So through that, as a caregiver, I gave everything I had to Hannah, and I had 3 other children also. So she became my life, because if I didn't take good care of her and we didn't help her, she could die. So this was such a super serious situation. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing the best that I could to keep my daughter alive. And what happened is, after you're a caregiver for a while, you start to be torn down. So you just go through a lot of physical things, emotionally, mentally, physically. It starts wearing on you. And that's what happened to me. And I remember at one point later on in her life, she had gotten fluid in her lungs, and they wanted to do surgery again to drain that. And we had to do it. We had no choice. So I remember it's the morning of, we're in pre-op, and she's in the room. Her dad and I are there, the doctors are there, the anesthesiologist comes in. And I am just inside, panicking. And I'd never felt that before. I'd always had a peace. God is our healer and our supplier, and He's taken such good care of Hannah. She's a walking miracle. But that morning, I was in such turmoil and anxiety. I couldn't go in the room. I kept walking outside the room and standing out there, and my heart was pounding, and I was so afraid. I was doing everything I could not to break down in front of her. It had just worn on me. The year before that, we were in and out of the hospital all the time. She just had one problem after another. And that's kind of what happens when you're going through it year after year. Just things start to happen to you as a caregiver. And you lose your strength, you lose your hope, just things happen. But one of the best things that ever happened to us, my husband and I as caregivers, was Make-A-Wish. Have any of you ever heard of Make-A-Wish Foundation? They grant wishes to the kids. We grant dreams to the moms and dads, the caregivers. So after Hannah's first transplant, they granted her a wish. She picked Hawaii. So they created a wish for us, our family, and sent us to Hawaii. David, I know, remembers that. My husband remembers that. It was the most incredible trip. They planned everything. They picked us up in a limo. They took us to the airport. Everything was provided for, our food, our activities, everything. It was incredible. For the first time in I don't know how many years, I was doing something that normal people do. I was out with my family. We were walking the beach. We jet skied. We went on a canoe excursion. We swam in the ocean. It was amazing. We came home from that trip refreshed, restored. We were happy. We had some joy in our hearts, and we had some pep in our step, because we still had a whole bunch more years to go taking care of her. But it did something for us. And that's what we want to do for caregivers. We want to bring that type of a dream trip to send them away on so that they come back feeling restored and refreshed. There are so many caregivers out there, you have no idea, in critical situations, such serious situations. It's experiencing caregiver burnout, which is depression, exhaustion, isolation. Their marriages are falling apart because of the pressure, the financial pressure that they have is unbelievable. But we can make a difference. We can say, hey, let's send you away for a week, just you and your spouse, just you by yourself. If you're a single parent, you can sleep. You can go do something fun. You can canoe on the lake. You can do whatever you want. We will make that happen for you because they have to come back and continue to care for their child. It could be 10 years, 20 years. It could be a lifetime. So they need this. Without us, they don't get that type of refreshing. So that is what we want to do. And during COVID, we granted 6 dreams. I was so excited that we were still able to do that. We did it in state, just for safety reasons. We want to grant 12 more dreams over the next 12 months. And with your help, we can do that. We can do something that changes their lives, brings restoration to them. We've got 5 caregivers lined up in stressful, really critical situations already. Their pictures are over here. This is a single mom who's been caregiving for 11 years. This is another family with 6 children that they've been caregiving for the last 7 years. In and out of the hospital, all of them. This is a couple that has a 16-year-old daughter. You wouldn't know it when you look at it. That they have to keep their house on lockdown if she runs out, because mentally she's about a 2-year-old. And for 16 years, they have been under such stress. This is another family with 3 kids, and their oldest daughter has just been through hell and back, and they need to get away. Most of these parents have never gotten away by themselves, because most of the time, what their child has started at birth. This is another family, their youngest son with the mask on. He has severe autism, and he has really gone through a rough time this last year with COVID. So those are the 5 next recipients that we want to grant dreams to. We just need your help to do that. So consider partnering with us. Become a dream granter. You could do something monthly. You could grant a partial dream. You could grant a full dream. Our in-state dreams are about $2,000. Our out-of-state dreams are about $4,000. You could donate an Airbnb, a timeshare, airline miles. There is so much that you could do to help us change caregivers' lives. So ask us how, and together we will change lives. So we thank you for being here today. I thank you for listening to my story. You can find us on grantadream.org and see more stories. And up here we have some of them. I'm going to highlight 2 really quick. This is a single mom of 5. We met her 2 years ago. She can't leave her child because she is here by herself, doesn't have a spouse. Do you know what she asked for? A bed. She'd been sleeping on the couch or sleeping in one of her kids' beds. She didn't have her own bed. So it was so much fun. We bought her a king-size bed because she had 2 young kids. We bought all the bedding, the headboard. We had someone come in, set it all up for her. She loves to cook because she has to cook healthy for her son. We gave her $300 in King Super gift cards to buy her food. She had an 18-year-old daughter that was about to graduate. They'd never had a family photo done. So we hired a photographer. They did a shoot. They printed off the best pictures, framed them, and we mailed them to her. So that was so much fun to do for her. This other couple, Brian and Elizabeth, their daughter's 11.